Good evening. Welcome to another episode of Behind the Scenes. They call me Stepney. Tonight I'm joined by Chase Johnson. Is it Lynch?
Yeah,
It is,
Chase
yeah.
Johnson Lynch, man. It's a double barrel, son.
Chase, welcome to the show. It's good to have you on. And thank you for working around me. Work is busy. Life is busy, as you know. How you
Yeah,
been?
bro. Yeah. No, man. Thank you for inviting me. And like I said, seeing your show, and then I'm looking forward to, chatting with you tonight.
Good. So that we can get into things, Chase, why don't you tell us a little bit about who you are and who is Chase?
Well, I mean, pretty much as you can already hear my American accent. I'm from New York and everything, but and you can see the gray in my beard. I'm pretty old, so I come from the '90s of hip hop. You know what I mean? So I used to do, hip hop videos as a first AD and a producer, and then sometimes as a director and everything. And in doing that, I managed to move up the ladder to being headhunted to working with my man Genius from the Wu-Tang Clan, hence the Wu-Tang name down under there. And on your shirt right there, bro, and stuff like that. And so I did that, in the late 90s. And, and that was a really good time we'll probably be talking about. But that's probably my claim to fame. So when I came over here to Liverpool in England in 2000, pretty much it was like falling down a well, because I just made the assumption that I can do videos anywhere. I didn't realize I was going into the Twilight Zone and another dimension, of sight and sound where they didn't seem to know what, working with film was, or, camera houses, transfer houses, and all that. So I ended up having to become a teacher and training the next generation in how to make music videos and film. And so I've been doing that here for the past 22 years now. And, that's pretty much up to date where we are. We're in my, office, my production studio. You see the sign behind me. My shirt, Big Condo Academy, even though it says records because we have a record label and everything. And, that's pretty much what I'm doing. I'm trying to stay, connected into creativity, coming from, I guess you would say, coming from the analog world and swimming through the digital world, so we always have to adapt, so that's what I'm doing is I'm adapting to change.
Good. And let's talk about a little bit about your journey from the US to the UK, because you ended up in Liverpool, and Liverpool is a great
Yeah.
city,
Yeah.
wonderful city. But how did you get from the US to the UK and specifically Liverpool?
Well, I mean, like the thing about it is that when I was in New York, making music videos, it was like it's kind of weird because obviously it's a dream come true. You're working with famous artists. You're doing big things, you're making money, doing all that kind of stuff. But believe it or not, sometimes doing the same thing over and over again can seem kind of daunting or even, dare I say, boring. And I had met a woman on the internet who was from Liverpool and everything, and that was really exciting to me because it was so different and everything like that, to the point where I followed her back here. When she came back, and I followed her back here. I mean, I literally, packed up everything, put most of it in storage, but it came over here with, two garbage bags, a tin cup, and a printer under my arm, and the printer blew up on the first night, because electricity don't work the same, bro. I told you it's the Twilight Zone. So but even though it was very strange, it turned every day into an exciting day because every day was something different for me. And I think I got at that level where I wanted something different, no matter how strange it was. So that's what brought me here. I mean, because I eventually married, became a dad, and all that. So it changed my life.
Well, and
I could say
it's changed
Liverpool is
it
the home of
for
the Beatles. I could say Liverpool is the home of the Beatles,
yeah.
but
It's
everybody
like I
knows
said,
that.
it's changed it
Yeah.
for better. Yeah, Liverpool has a lot of talent. Not only the Beatles, but lots of musical talent come from Liverpool. Some people won't remember people like Cilla Black. She was a great singer,
Mm.
actually. She's no longer
Well,
with
don't
us,
forget
but
the
yeah, she
real
was a
thing, brother. Let's don't forget the real thing, brother. Let's keep it real. Don't forget the real thing.
and of course Chase. Chase is in Liverpool. Come on,
You
the
said
big
it. I
dog.
didn't.
Yeah, you didn't need to
There
say.
you
I
go.
need to say it. The big dog. Chase.
There you go.
Because I've got a T-shirt on. For those viewers that are old enough to remember. Um,
Mm-hmm.
tell us about working with the Wu and Genius.
Yo, I mean, like, obviously, we're talking about like around 96, 97 at the height of the Wood, and basically, RZA was smart, like to get the client to split off into individual artists, to join individual labels. So, but Genius was also pretty smart as well, where he kind of like, questioned his labels, like, who makes the money around here, because he knew that his budgets were like around 100 to 150, you know what I mean, $1,000. I think I hate pounds of dollars and stuff like that. So he's like, who's making that, And so they'll say, yeah, well, the director, makes that. So he's like, well, I want to be a director then. And they're like, you can't be a director, James, because you're the artist. Like, and plus you need a production company. He's like, and so that's when he went, seeking out a production company that could kind of like, service his needs. And that's how he found me. So really, as a writer, I was often known as a guy who would write treatments for other people. And, so when we met, it was kind of like kismet, because, I was able to accomplish what he wanted. And he was able to, make the system work the way he wanted it to work. So it was cool. It was good. It was a good marriage there. So obviously, we started off doing videos for other artists. You know what I mean? Like who I guess you would say like fan artists, and then we would do videos for like Wu-Tang affiliates. Like Killer Priest or Sons of Men or and stuff like that. Wu Syndicate. But then what was cool was I got to do his videos as well, like Crash the Crew when he came out with Beneath the Surface. You know what I mean? So it's like only thing that disappoints me though, bro, is like I was actually in line to do Killer Bees, The Swarm. You know that video, right? And that was at the time that was like the first $1 million video. Yeah. And, I'm thinking, yeah, I'm on the inside here. I'm going to do this. I'm going to get this. But, I wouldn't want to call him my competition, but another first AD started to move into directing at that time. And that was the famous Brett Ratner. And Brett would go around, hanging out with the artists and everything, but he'd go out to the Staten Island, you know what I mean? And he'd be hanging out with like, Raekwon and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, man, I can do this, I can do this, and he came up, with a simple concept, but like it was like so it had a lot of crazy stuff in that video, but all I could tell you is that Brett ended up with a fancy car and a Noxzema girl. You know what I'm saying? And I was just like, damn, you know. But it's all good. It's all good, man. I don't think I'm spoiling anything. Everybody knows the deal.
and everything happens for a reason. So
I'm a big comic book fan there,
um,
you know what I'm saying, Stephanie, and I think I could have done a little bit more, with that, but, because the Wu-Tang, they love their comics, and so if you notice in that video, there's a lot of homages, like, Method Man as Ghost Rider and Inspector Deck as Spider-Man and, RZA's Batman and all that other kind of stuff, you know what I mean? So I was just like, you know, but
you
hey,
see,
it's all good.
what people don't understand is 90s hip hop was creative, very, very creative. All the music videos were very creative. The Wu-Tang set a standard. They absolutely
Mm-hmm.
set a standard for the way they made their music, the lyrics they used. They referenced
Mm-hmm.
like subconsciously, you would never even think about it, but they referenced a lot of other artists in a lot of the way they delivered their music and in the words they use and stuff like that. So like I said, they played a huge part in most people's lives. Most people can
Yeah.
at least name 4 songs. So
It was comic books and kung fu,
it's
bro.
it's great.
It was comic books and kung fu for them. You know what I mean? And like they brought a whole, like you said, the '90s was very narrative focused, and that's why it was a perfect time for me because, as a writer, I came in and I would listen to a song, because it was always about the treatments. You got to understand the way the record labels worked at that time was that they had, all of this marketing money, right? That, to make music videos. So they never haggled and stuff like that. But they didn't also have locked doors. You could just like walk into any record label, find out what's the next song on a list and you write a treatment for it, right? So, but because you had to write a treatment to submit, the list was very small as far as who was going to direct the videos and everything. So the artist would usually only have a choice of like about 3 or 5 treatments to read. So the interesting thing would be is like you could get a call because they're always in the studio, right? All artists are always in the studio hanging about, drinking Hennessy and chilling, right? So I would get a call like 2 o'clock in the morning, right? Going, yo, man, I've been reading the treatment, man. So tell me more about it. You know what I'm saying? I remember that was like what happened to me with the Wu Syndicate, and I'm just like, yeah, well, the song's called Weary Eyes. It's going to be a lot of rain and basically it's going to be about revenge, right? So these rival gangs, they kill your girl, and then you and your boy go and get revenge, and these rivals are in the Empire State Building, and set it on fire and blow it up. Oh, dog, really? Oh, man, you in my head. Exactly what I'm thinking. Yeah, okay. But, next week we're doing that video. So it was like that's just how it was. You just impress upon them with crazy ideas. I'm thinking, I listened to a song like SWV, Lose My Cool, that had Redman in it. And I'm thinking, lose my cool, lose my cool. It could be like lose my blood and yeah, vampires. You know what I mean? And people go, oh, what? I'm going to do a vampire video? Yeah, let's do that. You know what I mean? And there you go, bro. So that's where being a writer worked for me.
I'm gonna just have to just so that our younger viewers understand. SWV are Sisters with Voices, and they were amazing, absolutely
Yeah, no,
amazing.
exactly, bro. They were amazing. I mean, unfortunately, people can blame me because that video took all night to make, and Coco left the group that morning. Because like Coco was religious, yeah. So like vampires and all that. So she didn't like the treatment. Like there was a point in time where we're like, okay, so we wanted to open a video with the SWV in coffins, right? They open their eyes, dun 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 dun, right? And so Coco refused to get in the coffin, right? So it's like, come on, man, it's like you're a vampire. You gotta get in a coffin. So then, like, what happened was is that like see, look at that. People who always walking in. Dude, I'm on an interview, bro. Yeah. So anyway, right? So what we did was my art director, Alan Bruckner. Shout out to Alan Bruckner because he's the genius. What he decided to do was he decided to cut the coffins in half, right? Stand them up, hook them up to like a gobo, uh, like a thing, yeah. So we were like, look, Coco, all you had to do is just stand in it. You don't have to lay in it. Just lean back. So it was like people were like trying to push it, right? Lean back into it. So anyway, so she finally does the shot and everything, and everything. But at the end of the video, yeah, they got on a plane and she quit. But that's when SWV first broke out. If you didn't know,
well then now we know. It's music videos are an interesting one because, like I said, during the 90s, 80s, well, not so much, late 80s, 90s especially. Like I said, we saw a lot of creativity coming through, and it seems like you've had a lot of experience writing these treatments for certain videos and for certain production companies and stuff like that. How do we get
Hold on
from
for a second.
where you are?
Guys, guys, what are you doing, man? I know, but you just making me. This is the Glass Guys, by the way. There, Stepney. They're like up and coming, they're a rising band, and you know what I mean. They just did an interview here.
Okay.
Yeah, nice one. Thanks, guys. Sorry, ask your question again, Stepney.
That's live. That's the beauty of live recording live. Things happen. Yeah. So you've gone from doing all these treatments and doing these music videos for people and being behind the scenes with all these different artists from from Wu-Tang, the SWVs of the world, and doing these treatments. When you're doing these treatments, what is your process? What is your process from start to finish?
Well, see, no, yeah, like I said, that's a good question because, like I said, is that like the main thing is like you got to figure that you're in a battle with other directors, right? So, I mean, when I started, we're talking about like Hype Williams, you know, um, you know, uh, a lot of the famous directors who were doing music videos went on to become movie directors, right? So, like, you had people who had vision, but their vision was short. It was like a short-term vision. How do I tell a story in 5 minutes, right? So, what you had to do, the process has to be is like you're listening to the song, and you have to have in your mind that the artist who wrote that song or singing that song that was written for them, they that song means something to them. So you have to find the meaning in the song. So that meaning in the song would generally be either in the chorus, the title, or even the refrain, right? So what I would do is I'm listening to a song over and over, kind of like Jim Kelly just sitting there, with the headphones on, right? And then I will find that hook, right? That I can spring a whole story around. So, like for example, like hopefully people could look up these videos because they're all on YouTube. So I did a video for Genius and RZA. They did a video with DJ Muggs from Cypress Hill called Third World, right? So so I'm trying to think. Okay, it's definitely going to be a war video, Third World, right? But what is it going to be about and everything? And there's only one line. There's one line that RZA says in the song. He says, "Pass me those binoculars so I could see," right? And everything. And then I realized, wait a minute. There's that movie, They Live, with John Carpenter. The one with Roddy Piper and everything. He puts on the sunglasses and he can see the aliens. So I'm thinking, there you go. That's my concept. Aliens are trying to take over the world, and the only people that could save us is the Wu-Tang. You know what I mean? So, you got the Wu-Tang coming in on tanks, hovercrafts, iron flags. You know what I mean? We're out in the hills of Danbury, Connecticut, right? And we're just shooting a war video. Now this is like, I can't remember if it's before or after shadow boxing, but I mean, like, basically, this is my concept of a war video that was hidden aliens. So there's only one shot really of, like, looking through the binoculars, and you see like the aliens have a weird face, under the hoods and stuff. But like, it has a really cool ending. So I won't say what the ending is, because you got to go watch the video. It's called Third World. You know what I'm saying? But yeah. So that's how my process was. It's like, what could I do creatively in telling a story? And at least that was often good enough to be different from somebody just saying, oh, I'm going to do a performance video. I'm going to have girls, clubs, cars. We're going to be drinking Moet and Cristal, smoking the bone, all that kind of stuff. That's not my kind of video, bro. So I look at the narrative
You know what?
structure.
It's an interesting way of doing it, because like when somebody says to you, oh, you know what, I want you to write a song for me, and I'm talking like I've got experience of this. I have zero experience of writing songs, by the way. But
Yeah.
the good lady, my other half, she does. She she's a singer, and whatever. She's the talented one, basically. But she will listen to a song over and over and over again, and then that will, again, when you find that hook, that's something that hooks you in to go, okay, I understand where this song is going to. I understand what they want from this video, which will work perfectly and in harmony to the video that I'm about to shoot. When it all comes together, it's an amazing package, and it's like I said, it's very, very good to see that process and understand that process of what somebody goes through. How long would you say it takes you to write, to come up with a treatment?
Oh, it doesn't really take that long, bro. I mean, because it's like if you, I usually would think about it like as a stream of consciousness. Yeah, right. Everybody heard the term stream of consciousness and everything like that, and like basically, I always equate it to like my having like Asperger's and stuff like that, So I have a sequentious way of thinking. So stream of consciousness would be about ideas that's always flowing over everybody's heads. And then I just lift my hand up, pull an idea down, right? And it comes to me like that. Like last night, for example, like I said, we have a record label and everything like that. And so we're in the process of doing videos for our current artist roster. And this girl, like she has the song and everything, and it's like a country western song and stuff like that. And she, had an idea about, like a runaway bride kind of scenario. And so obviously, hey, runaway bride, Julia Roberts, yeah, But then I'm thinking, right? So I'm listening, and it will just come to me. Ideas, grab it, it'll come to me. And I'm thinking, yeah, wait a minute. It's a Western song, right? Why don't we actually do a freaking Western? Kind of like, whether it's a train robbery or we do like Once Upon a Time in the West. You know what I mean? High noon, 3 guys waiting at a train stop, and all this other kind of stuff. And then my partner, he was one of the guys who went around and he was like, because he had to pay for it, right? So then I'm thinking, oh, come on, man. You know me, man. It's a big idea. Let's squeeze it down, right? So then it just became like, we're looking at the elements of the song, bro. No, don't stop the process. Let it run, and everything. And then so now it's like, we got her as like a bounty hunter looking for this runaway bride, like wanted posters and all that kind of stuff. But then we take elements from different westerns that everybody knows, Wanted Dead or Alive, Good, Bad, and the Ugly, and Once Upon a Time in the West. And, it's all visuals, man. It's Sergio Leone. Now, can you imagine that? Doing that in a Liverpool country western song with an independent artist. Chase is back. Chase is back.
This is uncut.
But yeah,
You
but
know
that's how
what?
the
It's
idea comes. So it comes fast.
you know what? Like yourself, I'm an ideas man. I like ideas, and
There we go.
I ask anybody, I always have ideas. So somebody will say something, and I'll go, like my mind just clicks just to go, let me improve it. Let me make it better. How can I make this work for you? So then I'll reel off like a ton of ideas. And it's one of them things where I've never really truly found a way to put my ideas for myself uh, in a path that can allow me to do what I need to do. I can do it for others. You know, for some reason I can do it for others, and
Yeah.
I'll go, yep, if you do this, and yep. But to do it myself is something totally different. You know, even just doing this show, for example, behind the scenes, and I came out and I thought, you know what, this is my idea. This is what I wanted to do. Then I saw who else I could actually be speaking with and speaking to. And then it was, oh yeah, I can do this and I can do that and I can do this. And then I had all these ideas, and then it was going, oh, I need to start writing these things down because I'm forgotten half the ideas I had first, which were great. And then so I started using my phone to just write little messages and stuff like that. And it got to the point where I was thinking to myself, all right, I've got all these ideas. I now need to do something, or somebody's going to do it before I do. And that's why I got to this stage. And like yourself, it's just picking the right ones and going, yep, that one works. That one works. I'll go with that one. I'll run with that one. And yeah, it's like I said, that process that people creatively go through is individual to the person, but similar in a lot of aspects.
Well, like the thing about it is really also too is there's a learning curve in there because, like as a teacher as well, like I said, looking trying to support the next wave. Too many people don't know enough about what's going on in the business where they see directed by Steven Spielberg, and so they say, I want to be director. He must be important. And they don't realize that the director is actually, like, if you look at it like a family unit, the director is the baby. You know what I mean? Where mom and dad are in charge. So mom and dad is more like the producer and the first AD, right? So like in that aspect though is that you got to realize that, well, I have the skills, I have ideas. So where do I actually fit in this picture? And it took me a while because I could come up with plenty of fix-it ideas for other people. Okay, your idea, I don't say your idea stinks, but I could say that your idea could do like this or we could do this. But then if it's my idea, nobody's doing that for me. So then it's like it's not going to come out as good as if I did it for you. Yeah. So like then it makes me realize that it made me realize that I should move more into a producer's role, because not only does it put me more in charge, but it actually gets more of what I am good at into the picture. Do you see what I mean? It's like so when I have ideas or if I see problems occurring and all that other kind of stuff, I'm more better in that role, right? And then I had to kind of like, reconcile myself that, I'm a producer. And you got to just say to yourself, listen, calling yourself a director is no good if you direct crap. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? It's no good, bro. But I mean, being a producer, it's the producer who gets best film at the Oscars, right? And everything like that. So you gotta adjust your thinking. Figure out where you fit. That's my main thing in that.
That's a good pro tip there. Figure out your niche. Figure out what
Yeah,
you bring
there
to
you
the
go.
table.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
Tell me how you got into. So you moved to Liverpool 22 years
Mm-hmm.
ago. Still doing what you're doing, but then you started teaching as well.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I had no choice. I wanted to stay creative, and like, so I came with my show reel, my Wu-Tang show reel, and like, we have our like Miracle Mile of production companies, but obviously they weren't doing the same thing that we were doing in the States. They don't have record labels to give them big marketing monies. So like you'll have a lot of local independent artists, who have no money and stuff like that. So they can't even afford to have a cup of coffee. So, you sit down with them, right? And you say, okay, well, what do you want to do for your video? And then obviously they give you the big three, the big three things they want. I want cars, I want clubs, I want girls. And I'm like, how much you got? you know, and they put 50p on the table, like the equivalent of 50p. Here you go. I want cars, I want clubs, I want girls. And then you're like, for that? Are you serious? So in the beginning, I ended up, literally like, I'm paying you to do your video. You know what I'm saying? But it's like the sacrifice I'm making because I want to be creative and stuff, or I want to stay creative, keeping my mind chugging creatively, like I was telling you before. So, to try and be creative on gas, like bubblegum and shoe polish, that takes a lot more creativity than I'm used to. You know what I'm saying? But then I had to learn how to do guerrilla filmmaking in a really strenuous kind of environment. And but what wasn't happening for me was the lack of appreciation because, they're thinking, oh, I'm going to get the Wu-Tang guy, to do my video. And then they look at the video and they say, this don't look like no Wu-Tang video. And I'm like, well, because you're not Wu-Tang. That's for one. But then the other is you ain't got no Wu-Tang money. You know what I'm saying? And stuff. I had to beg, borrow, and steal everything to get this happening. And you don't even sound like you appreciate it. And because we're talking about, like the early days of Facebook and YouTube and everything. And I'm like, at least promote the fact that made your video the best that we can make it. Because I don't do a job unfinished. You know what I'm saying? So I'll put every last effort into making whatever we had to do, making it work. And then when that was not appreciated as much as I expected, then I had to move into teaching because I was like, well, listen, at least I think I'll be more appreciated here by training the next generation of filmmakers, giving them some knowledge and some experience and showing them how they can, make people disappear, walk through walls, fly through space, and all that other kind of stuff. And, and that's what I ended up doing, for the past, like, I don't know, 17, 18 years now. And, to like, because we started our own company here at Bicondo like about 5 years ago, so that was just keeping it going for ourselves, maintaining that creativity and training the next generation and that. But because my partner has the record label, like he has artists and everything, and we were able to, all right, I'm not going to charge you, you know what I mean? But I'll just put that creativity into play. Hence this like Western thing that we're about to do and stuff. But I'm excited about that because, I love the juices rolling. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you must understand it, like being an ideas man. It's like Hannibal. I almost said Hannibal Lecter, but it's like Hannibal from the A-Team. I love it when the plan comes together. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's really exciting. I mean, I think for people who are creative out there, they understand what I'm talking about. When you're actually making something and you got a good team of gorillas around you, the mist is lovely. You know what I'm saying?
You know what? It's funny how you say, again, referencing the A-Team and Hannibal Lecter. Yeah, that was he saying. I love it when a plan comes together. It's because, as you say, the juices get flowing. I don't want to say it's like a drug. It's addictive.
It is.
You want that. You want that next high almost. Like you just want to go. Yeah, this is. I'm enjoying this. I'm doing this, and then you're going. Okay, credit to yourself and people in your position. You put everything into it. Let's just say you're literally paying for people to do their music video because of all the work you're putting into it. But it's because you enjoy it, and it's that addictiveness that you enjoy of just being able to go. This is what I've created for somebody. It's just unfortunate, and I suppose it sucks a bit that people don't appreciate it all the time. But as you say, it's your hard work and the appreciation that you get from putting something out there that you're happy with as well is second to none.
It's the production value of the shot. Yeah. So and the secret is lighting. Yeah. The secret to any good piece is lighting, film or music video, right? And like so, one of my, I mean, I it's chiaroscuro lighting is my main thing. You know, that's like of light and darkness. So I love like Venetian lighting and everything like that. You know, I just shot a film with some students and everything, which was a homage to When a Stranger Calls, the 1979 version. Not the best version and the only version. Forget everybody other versions and stuff. You know, but and then like so looking around, like in your environment where you got, you make use of like creatively how you're gonna pay a homage that looks like the film you're paying homage to, but also has your own technique in it, your own style in it. So like, I had this shot of this girl in front of the window where sunlight's coming through the Venetian blinds, so it's coming through like stripes and everything. And I'm like, you know what I mean? So that's what it's all about. When you have that production value shot, and it's like it's just awesome. And everything comes down to that one shot. Do you know what I'm saying? So, I mean, everything comes down to that one shot that you could put into things. That's where that creativity, it flows. Do you know what
You
I'm
know what?
saying?
It's you're not the first person to talk about lighting. I spoke to a lady called Sarah, I think her name was, on one of the on a previous show, and she talks about lighting, of how it just how great it is for setting the mood, setting the tone. If you get the lighting right, even if it's a bad shot, even if it's a bad shot, if the lighting is right, it adds a little bit extra to it, so it's not so bad, if you know what I mean. And it can even make or mess up something that you're doing quite easily.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at Stephen Frears, The Grifters, that's the first time we got this kind of like two-tone lighting that was film noir, but it was different colors. Like he used like purples and blues as opposed to like black and white. You know, but like you just have to really like examine it. Like I don't know, you can see these stairs right here. Like we got another video that we're doing for another artist. And like and I'm planning on putting her into what I call a cage of light. And the way we do that is that it's nighttime now. So we turned out the lights here in this room, and we just had the light coming from our lamp and everything like that. It would shoot through the stairs, and it would create a strong shadow of streaks that makes it like a cage. Puts her into a little pool of light, which is kind of like a little bit of happened in my video with Teflon from MOP and everything like that. Get Mine, where I had him on a stage and we had him in a cage of light that was streaking up and stuff. So again, it's like that style and technique that I'm talking about. So you can't really have bad lighting. You only have bad ideas of what to do with the lighting. You know what I'm saying?
That makes sense. That
So
makes
you got to
sense.
make it work for you, bro. But lights is your secret. You could really do a lot with light, and that's all you need. It's kind of like a one light scenario can make any video awesome. You know what I'm
Well,
saying?
let me give you an example. No light,
Hmm. There we go. That's
bright light.
starlight, blue light. You know what I mean? So it's got that cold blue. Then you got a little bit of amber there, right there. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Yes, you're so right about that, bro. You know, and everything. You're so right about that. There's so much you could do. I love like that two-tone lighting that you see, and because if you're gonna do two-tone lighting, which is like two color light sources in the same spot, your best choices are amber and blue. Try it, and you'll see. Damn, that looks so good. You know what I'm saying? Unfortunately, I did a feature film where I used a lot of two-tone lighting. The film wasn't received that well, but hey, it looked beautiful. You know what I mean? It looked beautiful. You know,
Good.
uh, I had a premiere in
Um,
London with that one,
yeah.
and I was upstaged by a giant 40-foot elephant. Yeah,
Ah,
yeah,
you know what?
yeah.
It's just to go back a bit. When we talk about say we. I'm not you. When people talk about things like the lighting and how it's saying it, not good. There's no bad lighting. It's just I give the example they were switching off the light and switching it on again and using the different tones and stuff like that. I do that where possible to give people visuals, but we as humans, are light worshippers in a
Mm-hmm.
sense. For example, we revolve. Our whole life is around the sun because we could look at sunrise, sunset, and
Mm-hmm.
then the sun's in the sky. Oh yeah, everybody's out. When we see a fireworks display, we go, oh, wow, look at all the pretty lights, and go to see a light show, for example, and you go,
Mm-hmm.
oh, look at all the pretty lights, and then you go to your home, a studio, a club, a restaurant, and the lighting. It's always the lighting. You go, oh yeah, you know what? Oh, I like something makes you feel homely. Something makes you feel industrial sometimes, depending on the environment. So we love light. Light is one of our things. So yeah, it's interesting to hear how that sets a tone for something. Um, I'm going to ask you one quick question just before we move on. Has any of the Wu-Tang ever been back in contact with you? Do the people that you are training know about the Wu-Tang?
Yeah, so like it's funny, man, because like I said, I've been here 22 years, right? So when I left New York and everything, I was at the height of my career with Genius and everything like that. So, it's like, why did I leave? But it was just a matter of like, it was opportunity and stuff. And, I made like the most expensive video at the time for me was a Sons of Man video and stuff like that, where it's like about 340, $346,000 and stuff like that, So I'm thinking, I'm out of here, bro. you know, um, I could do this anywhere. I was stupid. That's what I thought. And I came over here. So then I came over here with my Wu Tang reel, and I was, and everybody, I was the Wu Tang man. To the point, even like 10 years later, they did an article, in a local paper, during the pandemic, whatever, and then they called me Wu Tang in the kitchen, right? Because I was still doing podcasting, and they'll be like, yeah, we got a Wu Tang producer, working out of his kitchen. And anyway, Genius, like I said, not just Wu Tang, but a lot of 90s hip hoppers thrive over here. Yeah, like there's big shows like where they all go on the same bill, right? So you got like Genuine or 112, you know what I'm saying, and all that and stuff, and so I found out that Genius was coming, so I'm kind of like, I've been telling everybody I know Genius, and I'm the Wu-Tang man, whatever, all that kind of stuff. And he's gonna play at our local, club down the street. And I'm teaching my students and stuff like that, and it'll be embarrassing if I don't actually make an attempt to go see him, right? So I take my students down with equipment, and we're hanging out in front of the club and everything. I'm like bricking it, right? Because I'm thinking, please, Jesus, remember, please remember me, please remember me. Now I'm thinking, why would I think that he wouldn't remember me? With all the people that I worked with in New York that are still in New York working in the business, still talking about me, I didn't realize the impact I had on people, is what I'm trying to say, right? But I was his running dog. I was the guy who did everything. So, of course, he would remember me, wouldn't he? So, anyway, the car rolls up and I'm bricking it. So I figured, let me move away from my kids, right? I'm going to stand here, like, isolated by myself, right? So that way, if he walks by me, I won't be too embarrassed and stuff like that. So he comes out of the car, he's walking towards the entrance. I don't even want to say she is, right? And everything like that. But I kind of like that. And then so he turns, you wonder like who that is. And then he goes, yo! I was like, Yo, what's up, Josh? You know what I mean? And it was all love and everything, and he's not a loving person, right? I mean, Gene he's not like, hey, he's not that kind of guy. But he was with me because he hadn't seen me in like about, at that point, it would have been like about 15 years. Do you see what I'm saying? And then I was like, hey, yeah, man, these are my kids, I'm seeing these kids and everything like that. And like, so he invited us inside, backstage, they're like taking pictures with him and stuff like that and all that. Then I'm saying, hey, well, we got equipment, right? So like, can we shoot? And so he allowed us to go on stage for his performance. And this was his first performance in Liverpool. And it's on YouTube, it's on the internet and stuff like that. But there's actually a shot of me with the camera, right? If you blink, you miss it. But I'm like, like looking at one of my guys, just trying to be like, look, I'm here with these, Um, and it was cool. And we hung out the next day. He got to introduce it to my family, my son. You can imagine that, what that was like. And then like he came back at another year and stuff, and we hung out. So he was supposed to come back this month, actually. It was on his like tour dates. So I was hoping that like I could bring him here into the studio and stuff and everything, but he had canceled, and everything. I was like, oh damn, man, I really want, because this is my new life. You know what I mean? And yeah. So get him on my podcast or something. You know what I'm saying? But yeah. Yeah. So I have seen him and everything, and hopefully we'll see him next time he's here and stuff like that. But yeah, so I should have had a little bit more faith,
Well, yeah,
but
you left me.
see, I'm not cocky like that, because I always like never tried to like look up to the artists that I was working with. You know what I mean? Because I always tried to be professional, figuring they would at least appreciate one person not kissing their butt. You know what I'm saying? And everything. So like, but it was good that like people know you. Like I worked with Alicia Keys. I did a movie for her when she did her first album, and her first song "Fallen" was about to drop. Before that dropped, she made a movie, right, and everything like that. So the production company that made the movie, I worked at and stuff, and I was the first assistant director on that movie and everything. It was pretty like female gangster, kind of thing. But I could tell the story. So like, but movies made, yeah, and everything. And Clive Davis saw it, and he's like, burn that, you know what I mean? Because she was about to release Fallen. And he's like, I'm not having my artists like in some gangster, whatever, the movie and stuff like that, And it was a shame because we was about to make another movie, right after it and stuff. But so when I came to Liverpool again, I mean, when I first came to Liverpool, I reached out to her people and their team and stuff because she was going to come to Liverpool for the first time. So I was trying to do the same, like Gene's thing, but yeah, it didn't work, and it didn't happen. So we didn't get to hook up because I would have loved to see, hey, like that kind of thing. So yeah, so I know a lot of artists that I respect.
You know what? I've been on set before on like films, TV shows, and stuff like that, and I've always said to people that I don't get starstruck.
Yeah,
I see famous people like when I'm out and about and stuff like that, and somebody go, oh, there's such and such. It's like, okay, they're doing their thing, innit? It
they're
is what it
people.
is. I said there's probably only three people that I would go, not that I'd get starstruck, but that I'd just want to listen to what they've got to say. And I said the first one for me is playing basketball at that period of time in the 90s. I said it's Michael Jordan. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
Michael Jordan, his airness, the greatest of all time. I don't care what LeBron fans say. Um, he was the epitome of an athlete in terms of what he done and achieved, and the standards that he set for himself. So playing basketball at that time is trying to emulate somebody like that, and trying to set those standards. And playing for, I literally would play for hours. I mean, I'd wake up, go to the park, play, and then by the time the park is shutting, I'm leaving. And that's because people are going, just stay one more game, one more game. And you just go, yeah, what would Mike do? As the saying goes, what would Mike do? Yeah, well, Mike would play because Mike would want to kick everybody's ass. So that's what I do. And so, yeah, Michael Jordan's top of that list. Next, I would always go with Sir David Attenborough because he was, I suppose, growing up here in the UK, he is somebody that pretty much everybody to a person has at least heard his voice or seen his shows. The things this guy has seen, the places this guy has been, and what he has done for TV over here in the UK. With what he's done with BBC Two and stuff like that. And nature, yeah, I could just listen to him. If he was to say, "Look, take a seat, I'm going to tell you a story," I'd be like, "Okay, can I get a blanket, some hot chocolate, and I just want to be cozy when I'm doing this, and he could just speak." Those are probably my top two, and then I said the other one was probably Sidney Poitier because, again, a trailblazer of his time, and some of the films he done. Wow, some of the films he done.
To Serve with Love is most inspirational for me.
Yeah. The guy was top, absolutely top. There's I can't remember what film it was, but it's the way he delivered his lines so well. There are a lot of good actors. Okay, there's a lot of good actors. The reason why there are great actors, like with sports, there are great sports stars. Like with music, there's great musicians. The elite of those people, their stories that they tell behind, like in front of the camera, last generation. So that means any generation can pick it up and go, that is still a good film. There are some films that you've watched, and like you mentioned the A-Team earlier. I remember watching the A-Team when I was younger and thinking this is fantastic, and then watching it like years later and then going, this wasn't so great, but it's fun. It's fun, but you couldn't show it to somebody of this generation and go, this is great, and they'll go, no, it's not, and you just have to sort of. But you can watch a Sidney Poitier film and just go, that was great then, and it's great now. And some of the meanings in some of those films, especially when they're looking at race, for example, and how he tackled those in those films, and how they work together. It's relevant then, still relevant now. So it's not changed. It's not changed in that sort of sense. Those are my three. But like I said, it's not like I get Star Trek. It's just that I just want to speak to them and just listen to some stories.
I totally agree with you about Sydney, number one up there. You know what I mean? Because coming from British Guiana, he couldn't actually speak English very well. You know what I mean? And acting, helped him train his voice and dialect, which, is what he's kind of known for. It's like, as you just said, his vocal delivery. So to know that going from speaking another language to learning a new language and commanding it the way he does, that's powerful, man. You know what I mean? So, no, definitely. I mean, I'm a big and huge fan of Sydney's.
Yeah. Let's move forward. So you've got your studio now, 5 years running. Congratulations, well done. Tell me about your current projects. You kind of touched on them earlier, and we saw the band walking in the background there. But tell us a bit about your current projects.
Well, I mean, currently, what I want to talk about is basically, as I said about starting out as a writer. I had published a book of my life, which is available on Amazon and stuff. And then she was gone. I would have pulled it up like that, but then that's facetious, and that don't even happen on me. But about my college years, of trying to have a girlfriend. I don't want to use dirty words in this one, but I remember when the book first came out, because I'm such a respected person. A lot of people went out and bought the book, and including a lot of women. and everything. And then I would get these calls like, they can't get past the first chapter and stuff like that. I'm like, I mean, I did say it's about my, early years in college. This is rude. And everything. But okay, all right, thank you. But what I liked was is that it was a story that I had written like about 30 years ago, actually, that I pulled out of the drawer. And I recommend to all writers to always go digging into your own crates and stuff. And, where I got the opportunity to get it published. And, and reason why I mentioned that is because then I had another book, which I'm finishing now, that I started like about 20 years ago, which is a sci-fi and everything. And like that one is, I'm kind of excited about. So hopefully, should finish that soon and then release. And then working with people, usually I'm kind of like the guy who, as you can see, I talk a lot, whatever. I'm kind of like the guy. If you could stand to listen to me, then I can make you famous. You know what I mean? Like it's like if you take on board what I'm saying, then it'll do something for you. So I often use the line of people I worked with often go off and make more money than me. So, like, I have a lot of people like that in my life, and in that aspect, I guess they appreciate me and stuff like that. They don't give me no job and no money, but they appreciate me. So, this summer, like, one of those people, who works for like the Met Film Academy down in London, she came up to visit me and say, I'm bored. And bored, being the head of film department. Man, oh wow. Well, I was bored and I left New York, so I guess I did understand about being bored. Um, but anyway, so she said, I remember an idea that you gave me like some time ago, and I was just wondering, like, would you be interested in me producing that idea? What? And then so I was like, nobody's ever asked me that before. You know what I mean? Like offered the opportunity and everything. So I'm really dead excited about that because I had this project. Now this is only maybe about 2 to 5 years. So I think the reason why I'm talking in years is because it takes a long time sometimes creatively to get noticed or to get things out there. So we're hoping like so we're fine tuning it, trying to fix up the third act because third acts always suck. You know what I mean? And because it's a horror film, whatever. But it's I thought that was interesting about this one, which I could say is that it's the father and son with autism puzzle mystery. Yeah. So in their differences, like the father's analog and the son is digital, they don't relate, they don't connect and everything. And like they have to solve a puzzle of mystery tapes to find a killer and everything. And like in that aspect is that I'm thinking, wow, this is a good way of looking at mental health because, when people are doing mental health stories nowadays, you run into that whole Sheldon scenario. Like, what kind of tick could I get this person to show that they're didactic and different? And I'm like, well, I have autism. There's a lot of people who have autism, and we feel that we're just as normal as you, even though you want to tag people with the word neurodiversity and all that. But what I'm trying to say is, people who are neurodiverse, they just have a different way of thinking, collecting knowledge and doing things, but you don't have to over exaggerate. You know what I mean? You don't have to do stuff like that because that's insulting. But so because of their ways of thinking, they're able to assess a concept that is really more complicated than most people would give up on. And that's why I like the idea of this being like a found footage horror piece that is a puzzle to solve. You know what I mean? Because I hate found footage films where they tell you this is a found footage film, but it's all perfectly put together.
Yeah,
When you watch it like Paranormal Activity, right? And they actually have like scenes where people wouldn't actually have filmed, or people talking to one another and stuff like that. So I'm like, no, I'm not gonna do that. So I'm gonna take all that and then do that. So that's my hopefully New Year project. So that's what I'm really excited about. So those are like the personal creative things that because like I said, I was making films, no money, and all that other kind of stuff, and I kind of gave up and stayed in the teaching realm. And I don't mind the teaching realm, but I feel I want to do something, what I mean, creatively like that. So I'm looking forward to making this film, releasing the second book, and everything, and then in the meanwhile, I'll do the videos, teach these classes, and and stay creative because it's like a shark. Sharks have to keep swimming or they die. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? So all I can say to people is keep swimming. You know what I'm saying?
well, you know what? It'll be interesting to see the film because, as you said, look, there's a lot of when it comes to mental health and neurodiversity and stuff like that. As you say, people think that they have to see it to believe it.
Mm-hmm.
When the majority of the time, people will have conversations, work with people, their bosses, for example, whatever walk
Mm-hmm.
of life, and they wouldn't have a clue. They just wouldn't have a clue.
Exactly.
It's because TV teaches us, I suppose, oh, if you don't see it, then it doesn't exist, and that's where a lot of those
Mm-hmm.
stigmatisms come from. So this will be a good one to a help educate people, and
Mm-hmm.
b it just sounds interesting. So yeah, if you need somebody to work
Yeah.
in it, I'm
Well,
I'm,
it's
I'm great. I can do lots of stuff myself. So yeah, hire me.
all right, man. All right, man. Don't say that and don't mean it. But
No, I mean it.
you know, I mean, it's coping mechanisms, isn't it? Like like I said, because I based it around me and my son's relationship, and like, my son, his Asperger's and his self mutism, was very, strong in the middle years, right? Like in his young years, it wasn't. Everything was okay, and then in the middle years, it got to that point. But now that like he's 19, like he's editing and he's acting and he's doing comedy, but he's just only recently come out doing all that. So what I'm trying to say is that eventually people who are autistic, they find their avenue. You know what I mean? And it may take some patience to get there, some patience and some support. But you won't stay this way. You know what I mean? And stuff. Because you learn how to cope. So that doesn't mean that you lose it. And that's why I feel like a lot of people have some form of autism because it's a wheel, isn't it? It's a spectrum. So like in that fashion is that you don't know that somebody is autistic unless they exhibit a trait. You know what I mean? But then again, is that like you said, it'll be the guy next to you. You never know, right? Guy or girl next to you, you never know, and everything. But again, being autistic doesn't make you as different as it used to be back in the day, where it was a dirty word. Yeah, it's no longer a dirty word, thank God. So like in that fashion is that's why I feel telling the story, it's really a relationship story about a father and son, and everything, and finding a way to work together, and I mean, you're a parent yourself, so like in
Yeah.
that fashion is that we all have our individual struggles and everything, so that's why I think it was important to make this film.
Yeah, you know what? It's as you say, the father and son dynamic in many households is different for every child and every father. One of the things that you touched on there was how they work together to sort this out. You know, they're two different, they're opposites colliding all the time, but yet they
Exactly.
work together to do certain things, and they find something in common that they both like and both can do, I guess. And
Yeah.
yeah, it's like I said, many fathers will find the same thing. They'll go, parents just in general, you know, whether it's a mother and their daughter, a mother and their son, you know, father and his daughter and a father and his son, whatever the dynamic may be, is they will find that same sort of, they'll want to go, oh yeah, my child will love everything that I love. And then you go, oh, hold on, you know, take music, for example. So my
Yeah.
daughter's gone to a Melanie Martinez concert tonight, and the missus, the good lady, has taken her because she does the concerts. I won't do the kids' music concerts because most of the music they listen to is not my music. You know,
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
different,
Yeah.
we
Yeah. Yeah.
different like that.
I know. I know. You're a Taylor Swift fan. You're a Swiftie. I get
I just shake it off. You know, it's all right. But yeah, we do. I try to educate them about their music. Okay, so there's I think is it Dojo Cat at the moment. I can't remember what the song
Yeah.
is called, but I said that's a Dionne Warwick song. I said, but
Yeah.
even so after Dionne Warwick, somebody else sampled it as well. And I said when you look at music, I said you've got to look at it as to you right now as a young lady, you're going to see that and listen to that music and think, wow, this is amazing. This. How did they come up with this?
Yeah.
The song has a history, and when you see all the
Mm-hmm.
samples that have come before it, you'll be surprised. And you know, like I said, whenever we play a song, whenever she plays a song, I'll listen to it and I'll go, okay, yeah. And sometimes I can go, oh, okay, this is where this come from, and I'll show her. It's probably a song from my era, like I say, the 90s, for example, where I think where I used to think, oh yeah, this is where this song come from. And then I've got my older brother who's 8 years older than me telling me, no, that's not where it come from.
Yeah.
Let's go back a bit more. And that's where it come from. And you know,
Yeah.
when you
Yeah.
do
Yeah.
that research and that sort of thing. So yes, our music tastes are different. We do have a lot of music in common as well. I have to admit, having kids has taught me to like things like musicals, which I never thought I'd actually like. I'm admitting this on for people to actually just understand. You know, it's there'll always be something that will bind you together. And you know, in this murder mystery horror film that
Yeah.
you're doing, it's the father and son finding something that they go, okay, this is us. This is what we can do, and this is
Yeah.
how we solve that. So yeah, looking forward to it. And yeah, it'd be good
Yeah.
to speak to you about it, and then maybe even come down to so whenever you're filming it or whatever, come down and get some behind the scenes
No. No. Definitely.
exclusives.
Yeah.
I always ask people this question because I think it's an important one. What do you think of the industry as a whole? And for you, I mean, working behind as a producer, AD, writer, director, what do you think of the industry?
Uh, Loaded question.
Yep.
Thankfully, when we're recording this, the actors strike is finally over.
Yeah.
So the industry will return. But it also shows us how much in advance filming people have done, that we still even have something to actually watch. Um, I don't know what to say around that. I mean, like the industry. I mean, obviously, it's a good thing. It's a creative thing. Is it important? Does it? Like a lot of people are complaining about what they're calling woke, and I think it's unfair, really, in a way, because um, what we're doing now in the present times is acknowledging that Black people exist, always existed. Where if we were in the 50s, like watching westerns and cowboys and Indians, they didn't exist. In our Happy Homemaker shows of the 50s and 60s, they had servant roles. as maids and butlers and everything else like that. They couldn't do anything else but nowadays where we see them as important people, cops, doctors, Tulsa, Bass Reeves is known now, you know, um, The Banker. That was a great movie with Anthony Mackie. I'm loving the factor that I don't call it woke. I call it about time. It's about time, really. And they just have to do it better, where you don't point it out as much. You just make it just natural, you know. I haven't seen Joyride, for example. Yeah, the Asian, bad girl movie and stuff like that. I want to see it, but it's kind of like, yeah, you could be bad girls, you could be Asian bad girls. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to just be white girls or bad. So in that fashion is when it comes to diversity, the industry is changing. We're getting a lot more stuff. We're getting a lot more acknowledgement where people go. I mean, you remember Watchmen, the TV version when that came out, and they revealed about Tulsa, and how many people said, "I didn't even know that happened." And it was only 1911. And then HBO's Lovecraft Country did a little bit more on it, and you're like, "Oh my God, I'm getting a history lesson from television." But then you should also be saying, "Oh my God, who the hell made this disappear? How come I
Yeah,
did not know?" And you're getting all these stories. I mean, Bayer Ruskin, that new movie is coming out. So I think the industry has changed. I don't think they changed for the good reason, but I think their change is good. Shall I say it that way?
yeah.
But I wouldn't call it woke anymore because calling it woke puts a negative connotation on it. And, so that's why I said it's about time.
You know what? I'll touch on that word woke, and the thing that annoys me about it is it's been hijacked. It's been used as a weapon to say, "Oh, it's just woke," and you go,
Hmm.
"No, no, look, this is how things should be." You get upset because you're
Yeah,
seeing somebody in a particular role, and yet you weren't saying that. You weren't going, "Oh yeah, but these animals can't play, like people can't play animals," for example. Like they're not making sense of it. They're just being upset about
hmm,
something for the sake of being upset.
hmm,
And I always go to people, look, if you own your, I'll swear here, kids at 1 minute, 1 hour, 13 minutes, don't listen to it. But if you own your shit, then I've got no
hmm.
problem with you in it. So if you're racist, be racist. Don't hide behind
Yeah,
something. Just be your racist self. I
yeah,
I couldn't care less. I actually applaud you for actually just saying, "Listen, I'm a racist, and that's what I do." Whatever. But just know that
yeah,
there are people that don't want to deal with you. So that whether that's in your working life, your private life, or whatever, and you accept the things that come with it. Don't hide behind anything where it's going, "Oh, well, that's just woke." Um,
yeah,
woke was just a word that was used at a particular time, but what people have always been championing for and asking for is that right to be treated as an equal. And
yeah.
I explained to my daughter about I explained to both my kids, but mostly my daughter because she's the older of the two. And I said to her, as you're starting secondary school and stuff like that, so you're going to come across people and they're going to be saying stuff like, oh, you can't say that and you can't say this and you can't say that. I said, look, put it in. I always tell people, put it into context, okay? Put it into context. I said, um, as a cartoon, for example, because I love a cartoon. I said South Park. South Park. I explained to her what South Park was, and I said South Park. People will watch that and go, "Oh, you know what?" And I always go, they do it because they take they take the Mickey out of everybody equally. Okay, so it's not. I said for example, I said the black kid in South Park. I said, guess what his name is? She went, what? I went, his name's Token, and she went, Token. I went, yeah, because he's the token black kid. I said, I said, I said, for me, that's genius. That's not anything else
Yeah,
other than
yeah,
genius. I said, if anybody's got the right to be upset, you can go, it's ginger people, because they always take the mickey out of gingers. You can say fat people, because they're always fat shaming Eric Cartman. You can say Jewish people, because they're always Cartman's always ripping on Kyle. Canadians, whatever it may be. I said, but they do it across the board. So don't get offended. If you're somebody that gets offended by things like that, don't watch it. Don't watch it. Nobody's forcing you to go, I must sit through this half-hour episode of South Park, be upset. But what we're saying is, they're going, it's an equal thing. And what we've been saying for the longest of time, whether it be in behind the scenes, in front of the camera, in different walks of life, is we've always been here. I don't know how you couldn't. I don't know how you could have missed us. I'm 6'1". I don't know how you could miss me. We're now getting to a stage where people are going, oh, you're rewriting history, and you're going, no, Tulsa happened.
No, we're actually opening the pages that were stuck together of history, and allowing you to see what really happened.
What really happened? I actually did a Facebook post once, and I explained, about stop and search, and there was a guy that I used to DJ with when I was younger, and it was like, I'm getting a bit fed up of seeing all these. I went, yeah, I know, I get it. I said, I'm fed up of even having to write something like this. I said, he's like, but I've been stopped. I said, no. I said, many people have been stopped and searched. I said, but the thing is, you weren't ever stopped and searched and told that you matched the description. You were never stopped and searched when you were under the age and told that you matched the description. I said, I've always been tall. That's we're all tall in my family, but I've always been tall. So even at 10, 11 years old, and I'm quite tall, the police stopping you and saying you match your description, where are you going? And you have to go, I'm going to Cubs, because I've got my Cubs uniform on under my jacket. And they go, okay, well, and that's not normal, because that isn't happening to a certain demographic.
Right.
And you can't normalize that. You shouldn't normalize it. But things are changing, and the industry is changing. And it's good to see people like Tyler Perry, 50 Cent, leading the way in what they're doing. Is just going, okay, well, look, my content is for everybody, but I'm mostly catering to a certain demographic, because that's the other demographic were not supportive of what he was what they were trying to do, and not giving them the right recognition that they rightly deserve. So it's like I said, this the industry is hopefully moving in the right direction. The writer's strike has ended. Things. The actors strike. Sorry, the actors strike. Yeah. It's the actors, not the writers. But yeah, it's the industry still needs a lot of change. How it happens over the next couple of years, we will find out. We're watching.
Yeah. We'll be watching.
We'll be watching, most definitely. What would you say? What would you say the industry needs to improve then? Where would you see an improvement?
See, it's hard to say that, because there are a lot of roles that have been given to African minorities in power as far as the industry is concerned. I mean, you hear about it all the time about, a Black woman is now in charge of development at some, production company or something like that. And I mean, I haven't really seen the result of that person being in charge providing any change. So where's it going? Is what you said. I mean, I don't know. Do you know what I mean? It's just hopefully it's going up. Is all I can say to that. Is that hopefully. As Sam Cooke says, change is coming. Change is going to come, and I'm hopeful for that. I think that when people do something, they're looking to trip them up. Like Nia DaCosta doing the Marvels. Everybody's looking to trip her up and land base the movie before it even comes out, and everything, and so it's kind of like, oh man, that's not cool. Do you know what I mean? Ryan Coogler was given all the success, but then he seemed to have disappeared. Now he could say, "Hey, I just went on holiday because of the actors, writers, and the strike and all." But I mean, you haven't heard anything about him, have you? So it's a shame when there's only one or two people, that we had to follow. And I just think it should just be more people who are inverted into the system, and let's see what happens. But they have to be in a power position to make that change, not just be the writers in the writers' room, or that one singular director of diversity, who has no experience whatsoever, because then when they mess up their film project, they'll never get another one, And see what happens when we let them in. You see what happens when we let them in, and that's basically you're waiting for somebody to say that, and that's what they're doing to Nia DaCosta right now. It's like, see what happens, you know.
Yep.
So damned if you do, damned if you don't, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All we can do is just watch.
um, I'm going to end on this one because I'm going to let you go because it's late, and for those of you that don't know, it's gone
Yeah,
9 o'clock, and it's a school night for us old people. You know what I mean?
yeah, bro.
um,
Yeah. Speak of yourself.
what, dude? I'm looking at time and going, oh, this feels
No,
like a
no, no,
long
no, no, no.
day.
That's all right, cool.
No, but I'm
I got
joking.
time for one,
Um,
bro.
so let's look. If you were to give somebody joining this industry now some advice, what would it be?
Be open to collaborating, because, like, forget what you see about that one person that is doing something. It never takes one person, like, to make anything. You need a team, or you need to work with people, and, like, so be open to collaboration. Like, two, four, you guys will make more of an impact. And then out of that four, and that impact once made, then you could go off and make your thing with another two or four. You know what I mean? A lot of people are too selfish and too greedy, too hungry and too needy. Look at that, I just rhymed. And stuff. But collaboration is my thing. And you can't do it alone and everything, and you have to be able to trust and stuff. I think especially when you have ethnic diversity, too many people have too much pain and suffering in their past. That trust is hard to come by in the present, and unfortunately, you're not gonna have a future if you think that way. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So, like, hopefully people could take on board what I'm saying is that, listen, yes, you've been done over. So has a lot of other people, but, like, learn from it, and then hopefully the next group of people, that you give your trust to won't do that. Especially if they're like minded and they've been done over too. So,
Yeah,
look for those people. You know what
yeah.
I'm saying? Yeah,
You know
that's
what?
my
It's
advice.
that's um, that's good advice. I mean, again, we obviously we can only speak from our own experiences, but yeah, there's the amount of times I've gone to people, look, let's work together on something, and it's always like, oh, okay, yeah. Again, I'm an ideas person, so my ideas revolve
Yeah.
around working with people. I enjoy working with people. I can do this on my own, but if I could do it with like 3 or 4 other people, and we all have something that we can work on together and do together, then yeah, it's a better journey because you're doing something with people that hopefully you enjoy spending time with as well. And even if it's just like on an ad hoc basis, and you're just going, okay, well, look, we're going to work together here for this particular thing, and then da 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 da, and then we'll come and meet here again for something else over here, and blah blah blah. Working with people is key, and building those relationships, and as you say, forgetting the baggage of the past and who's hurt you, is treating somebody new as somebody new. They're not that last person that
yeah, exactly. I have nothing to do with that, bro.
They're not the shy. Yeah, it's a new person. So good pro tip. Chase, I would love to have you back on again, especially once you started your new projects and the film and stuff like that. It'll be good to catch up on that, and hopefully speak to you and the cast and the crew as well. Because again, reason for sharing these stories is to let people know that you can be a producer, you can be a director, you can be in lighting, you can be in sound, you can be in hair and makeup, you can be supporting artists, the people in the background, your extras and supporting artists and stuff like that. You're all part of making that something special that somebody's going to watch, listen to, see, and relate to as well. So it'll be good to chat to you again, and to chat to your crew, and even some of your bands that you're working with and stuff like that. It'll be good to have some of them on, just do some short shows and stuff like that. We can work together. Hey.
Double barrel, bro.
Double barrel.
Thanks a lot for inviting me on the show. Look at that. People just gotta get on, man. They just gotta get on. No matter how much you mention them.
Come and say hello. What's up?
Royce Rothschild, my partner. Phil Bill, my other partner. Like I said, I can't be me on my own. I have to have a team. Damn it.
Chase, there's no I in team.
So anyway, but thanks a lot, Steph, man. I really
he's been Chase Johnson Lynch. They call me Stepney. This is Behind the Scenes. We'll catch you next time. Have a good evening. Take care.
Peace out, bro.